Hey everyone! Today, we are diving deep into a topic that could completely transform how your nonprofit works: AI automation. Seriously, if you've ever felt like you're just drowning in those tedious, manual tasks instead of actually focusing on your mission, well, this is for you. We're going to break down how you can go from that manual grind to making a major impact.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start by talking about the problem with how most people use AI right now. Then we'll get into the real promise of automation, see some actual examples, and break down the tools you can use. And then we'll wrap up with a blueprint for your very first project and, crucially, how to avoid some common mistakes. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to start with a really simple but powerful metaphor. You see, a lot of nonprofits have started using AI, which is awesome, but most are doing it the hard way. Think about it like this. Using a tool like ChatGPT for a one-off task is like fetching water with a bucket. Sure, it gets the job done, but you have to go all the way back to the well every single time. AI automation, on the other hand, is like building a whole plumbing system. You do the work up front to build it, and then the water, or in our case, the work, just flows exactly where you need it to go, all on its own. This whole bucket approach, it creates some serious pain points. You get inconsistent results because maybe you use a slightly different prompt each time. You get that dreaded copy-paste fatigue from moving stuff from one window to another, and honestly, it's just begging for human error. It completely fails to scale. I mean, you can't manually type 5,000 personalized thank you notes into ChatGPT one by one. And for nonprofits, this is a massive deal. You're constantly dealing with the many hat syndrome, right? Small teams are doing the work of huge departments. Budgets are always tight, so you can't just throw more people at the problem. And what happens? Your amazing mission-driven staff gets completely burned out on administrative drudgery instead of focusing on changing the world. Automation can be that digital team member that never sleeps. So if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's all about building that plumbing system. It's about making automation your most powerful ally, giving your team back the time to focus on what actually moves the needle for your mission. And the benefits are just huge. You save an unbelievable amount of time. You get total consistency, so every single donor is thanked in the same thoughtful way. You slash human errors because, well, automated systems don't get tired or distracted. And you save money. Not by replacing your people, but by superpowering the amazing team you already have. This quote just nails it. This isn't about tech for the sake of tech. It is about buying back your single most valuable resource, your team's time. Time they can use to connect with people, to dream up new programs, and to think strategically about how to grow your impact. Okay. That all sounds great in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the day-to-day grind? Let's get into some real, tangible examples of what automation can do in a nonprofit setting. So for fundraising, picture this. A new donation hits your account. Instantly, an automation kicks in. It looks at that donor's entire giving history and generates a completely unique, personalized thank you email that feels warm and human. That's how you build real relationships, but at scale. Or how about marketing? Your team rates one fantastic blog post. Then, an automation takes that text and wham! It creates 3 different tweets, a thoughtful LinkedIn post, and a great Instagram caption. And then it schedules them all to go out. You've just turned one piece of work into a whole week's worth of content. And check out this one for programs. A field worker is out on a site visit and records some quick rambling voice notes on their phone. An AI then transcribes that audio, pulls out all the key data points like dates, numbers, and specific needs, and automatically populates the fields in your impact database. Just like that, manual data entry is gone. So by now, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sold, but how? How do I actually do this? The technology can seem a little intimidating, but trust me, it's way more accessible than you think. Let's break down the types of tools that are out there. For most nonprofits, right here, this is the sweet spot. AI workflow platforms are like the central nervous system for all your automation. They're the bridge that connects all your different tools together. So, for example, when someone fills out your online form, the workflow can tell your CRM to create a new contact and tell your email system to send them a welcome message, all without a single click from you. This table gives you a great bird's eye view. Embedded AI is the stuff that's already built into the tools you probably use. It's low skill, low risk, and a fantastic place to start. AI workflows are where you get that high flexibility to connect different apps. Agents and browsers are a bit more specialized, really for complex research or grabbing data from the web, and they can come with a bit more risk.
Look, the most important thing here is that you don't have to do it all at once. We really recommend a simple path. Start with what you've already got. Explore the AI features in your current software. Once you feel like you're hitting a wall, that's when you graduate to a powerful workflow tool like Zapier. And only look into those specialized agents when you have a very specific, complex problem to solve. All right, let's make this super practical. It's one thing to talk about this stuff, it's another thing to actually build it. So here is a clear, step-by-step recipe that you can use for your very first automation project. Just think of it like baking a cake. First, you discover and plan. Find those repetitive tasks that drive everyone crazy. Second, you assess the risk. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if this messes up? If a mistake would be bad, you just add a simple human review step. Then, select and test a few tools using free trials and some fake data. Run a small pilot with just your team, and finally, measure the results, get some feedback, and then roll it out. It's simple, it's manageable, and it's safe. Now, before you run off and try to automate everything in sight, we need to talk about building with guardrails. This is so important. Let's talk about the common mistakes people make, and more importantly, how you can sidestep them completely.
This is it. This is the first and honestly the most important question you have to ask yourself. Are you just putting a shiny, new, high-tech layer on top of a workflow that's already a mess?
Because here's the danger. Automating chaos doesn't fix it. It just makes the mess happen faster. The solution is super simple, but it's essential. Get a whiteboard or even just a piece of paper and map out your current process. Simplify it first. The golden rule here is never ever automate a process that you haven't already optimized. And here's the second critical question you need to consider. What happens if that one tool you're relying on for everything suddenly shuts down or triples its price overnight? Do you have a plan B? This is what we call dependency risk, and it can bring your operations to a screeching halt. The fix is to document your workflows so clearly that you could rebuild them in another tool if you had to. And always, always keep the old manual procedures documented somewhere just as a last resort backup plan. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Just look across your organization. Think about all the spreadsheets, all the copy pasting, all those repetitive reports. What is the one task that, if it just vanished tomorrow, would free up your team to focus on the mission you all signed up for in the first place? Find that task. That's where you begin.